Greetings, and today I will be reviewing the episode 1 for The Witcher series on Netflix. So if this is your first time on the channel, I mostly make Gwent content, but you will see these Witcher videos come out now and then, plus maybe a couple of other variety stuff. So if that's your kind of thing, it'd be appreciated if you guys would leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and please consider subscribing to the channel. So I just got around to watching episode 1 of the Witcher series yesterday. I know the series came out on Friday, but I was going to the States for the weekend, so I couldn't start watching till we got to sort of settle down for a bit. So a lot happened in The Witcher 1. In episode 1 of The Witcher, I should say. I was not expecting that much. I mean, then again, I saw that it was an hour-long episode, so before I do start actually with my review is I do not claim to be a hardcore fan of The Witcher, so if there are some things that I talk about that I probably explain later, I'd be appreciated if you guys don't spoil it just yet, because you know I sort of want to just be caught up just in the moment of the episode. You know what I mean? Let's not have any spoilers just yet. It'd be great if it wasn't. So, don't claim to be a hardcore Witcher fan, which means that I'm probably not going to be too aware of maybe some of the stuff that happens like behind the scenes as yet, because I haven't read the novels, at least not yet anyway. Like, I'm just basing it mostly off the video game, so the best I can do really is base their personality, their actions. In terms of the story and the lore, I'm just as new in it as for most of you who probably haven't read the novels yet, but I know there are some of you who probably already know what's going on. If that's the case, then that's good for you. But you know, it's be appreciated if you don't spoil it just yet, because I haven't watched the other episodes just yet. So there's that. And B, obviously there's going to be spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the first episode, so obviously don't continue this video if you haven't seen episode 1 of the Witcher series just yet. And 3, of course, there are also things that I'm probably gonna say for some of you guys maybe messed up, because like, oh, this guy's just casual. No. I've already admitted I'm a casual, and I know that's often a dispute when it comes to these kinds of videos, so bear with me here. So obviously the episode starts with Geralt fighting a monster, and that monster, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, it's good that we're starting right away with a fight, actually, because it does show sort of Geralt's trade as a monster hunter for pay. So he's like a mercenary for hunting monsters. It's a Witcher, and we also get to see sort of how the Witchers are seen in society. So obviously they're not trusted, obviously, because of their ability to do things that are different from the common eye. So obviously immediately we see that when Geralt enters Blaviken, he is sort of met with contempt amongst the citizens. People immediately want him out. In fact, he almost gets caught in a fight in an inn, which is, you know, pretty common because it's happened in The Witcher 3. Geralt likes to get into fights with inns, with these like ruffians, you know, because they don't trust them. They want them out of their town because they always come and bring misery, you know, stuff like that. But he is stopped by a character. Oh, sorry, the fight does get stopped, or it's prevented from getting started by Renfri. We don't know. I don't know too much about her, and after watching the episode, I still don't know that much about her, because I did read a little bit of the lore, and so I was kind of aware of what Renfri was doing and sort of how it turns out, but I kind of wish we got a little bit more of her. She was mostly just used to sort of foreshadow Geralt's union with Ciri, and I'll get to Ciri later. I just want to focus on Geralt as of the moment, because there are a couple of stories going on at the moment, because obviously they're not together yet. So we see Geralt's side of the story, and then we see Ciri's side of the story, which I think is how this video is going to be split up. So Renfri, of course, and Stregobor, who is a mage currently in hiding, well, from her anyway, they both instruct Geralt to kill the other, and I see this as a recurring theme, which is pretty good, actually, I think, because Geralt tries to be neutral. So like whenever there's like a war going on or some dispute or whatever, Geralt tries not to take sides. His main concern really is monster for money, but the thing is, Geralt is a mutant, so he has these incredible powers, obviously, that people want to use for their own personal gain. So we kind of see sort of a common theme of lesser evil, which means that Stregobor tries to convince Geralt to kill Renfri because it is a lesser evil, whereas vice versa, Renfri tries to do the same to kill Stregobor. And Geralt's kind of, you know, torn in the middle, obviously, because he got both of these tasks sort of from the two different people to kill the other. So it's like, what is Geralt gonna choose, right? So we see that Stregobor's claim for killing Renfri is because she is born I didn't do too much reading about this, so I'm not quite sure what this means. But she has a condition where she was born on a certain day, which makes her awfully dangerous, makes her a mutant, makes her almost like almost monster-like. That's Stregobor's claim. Renfri's claim is that Stregobor's men raped her, robbed her, sort of got rid of her entire life. So she's sort of trying to get revenge on that by killing Stregobor. So I can kind of already see that Renfri's sort of acting a little more out on emotion, if that's the case, because that's kind of just seeing from the surface level. Whereas Stregobor is sort of acting out of what do you call it? I think Stregobor, I can't remember quite exactly what happens. I did write this down. Like I have a lot of notes actually here, and honestly, I was a little bit more intrigued with Ciri's side of the story, to be perfectly honest. But Geralt's side does give sort of the common theme of the lesser evil. But I believe Stregobor wants to use Renfri sort of as a experiment. I think as part of his experiment, because of her condition, right? So, and I think I don't know if he shared. I don't remember him sharing that part with Geralt. I don't think so. Otherwise, Geralt probably wouldn't have taken it. So obviously, Geralt confronts Renfri about this as he's actually talking to Roach. I like how they actually show scenes of Geralt talking to Roach, because he's really his only true friend, honestly, like his only companion. So obviously, like, he talks to Roach quite often, which is pretty cool, I thought. So we do get a confrontation with him and Renfri, that's when Renfri sort of says her side of the story about being robbed, raped, getting revenge, stuff like that, and she will do whatever it is necessary to do. And of course, they have a little night in the woods. I kind of wish there was a little bit more to that action. I think they were just making out. For a movie, for a series that's not, it doesn't seem like it's meant for kids, obviously, because of all the scenes that happened. And I did read this on the lore that they did have a night in the woods. Kind of wish a little bit more happened, and just making out, but that's just me. It's whatever. I'm not trying to sound like a pedophile there, but it's like, it's again based off the video games. There's a lot of action that goes on in The Witcher, obviously, with Geralt being a ladies' man and stuff like that. I just thought, in terms of that, comparing the game to the movie, in terms of that action, not as much as I had expected, but it does happen, it does match. So Geralt then wakes up in the forest and finds that Renfri has gone back to Blaviken. But the thing is, that's when we sort of get a hint of her prophecy, or I'm calling it a prophecy because it's like some sort of foreshadowing of Geralt's eventual union with Ciri. Again, I'm talking with this just having watched episode 1. I haven't seen the rest of the episodes as this video is being made, so obviously some of the things might get cleared up later on. So Geralt goes back to Blaviken. He and Renfri have a bit of a fight. I like how when Geralt fights sort of the henchman, he makes it look so easy, yet when he fights Renfri, he does struggle a little bit. So we do see sort of that power that Renfri does possess within her, which does give Geralt a bit of a hard time before he eventually kills her. Stregobor then comes in, is looking to sort of pick up the body, claim it for his experiments, and Geralt is telling not to touch her. Clearly she has not convinced, but like obviously Geralt, having listened to her side of the story, sort of, I guess almost, I wouldn't say get swayed, but it's like, again, he's trying to maintain that neutrality, right? Like if he was truly choosing to be with Stregobor, he would have just handed over Renfri and just taken the bounty and then would have just left. But no, Geralt knows he's trying to do the right thing. So obviously, because of after finding out what Stregobor was up to and sort of what his past was, again, we don't know if this is true because Renfri died. So she says it, yeah. So other than that, there's not too much other proof of whether that is true or not. So again, this kind of leaves Geralt with the thought of whether or not he made the right decision in killing Renfri, because Stregobor, we see sort of a little bit of manipulation with Stregobor of trying to kick off, or of being able to convince the citizens to kick Geralt out of Blaviken, even going as far as throwing rocks at him. So I thought that was a little sad. That actually did touch me a little bit, but I already had a feeling that's sort of what kind of person Stregobor was gonna be. So that's sort of where we end off with Geralt's side of the story. Moving on now to Ciri's side of the story. I like that they sort of showed her as a person who, didn't spend her whole time running away from either Nilfgaardians or the Wild Hunt or whatever creature or person wants her, as I've been used to through video games anyway, where we see her just always running away from these people who just want her. We do actually see a little bit of her backstory, as she did have a very happy childhood. She was just a common person, you know, wanting to go to the streets, have some fun and play without, you know, people addressing her as Her Majesty or Her Highness, because she's just a kid, right? She just wants to have fun. So I thought they portrayed that actually very well. Plus with the dance scene she had with her protector Laszlo, and the way Queen Calanthe sort of said that, oh, this could be her, you know, her first happiest, or her last happiest moment for a while, after figuring out that Nilfgaard was on their way to Sintra to sort of conquer it. So I thought that was pretty good, to sort of foreshadow her into, you know, her life as running away and eventually finding her way in towards Geralt. So we do get a little bit of that, which is pretty cool. So what, before I continue on, there's just something I gotta know. It's like, who in the world is training Nilfgaard's archers? How is it that they are able to get these amazing shots off in one try? You don't see any arrows fly off, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure some of you already have an idea what I'm talking about, but if you don't, this is the biggest one. I'm referring to the battle scene, of course, where Calanthe gathers her troops to go fight Nilfgaard in the wide open plains, and Ice gets shot in the eye with an arrow from a Nilfgaardian horseman that's like far away from the battle. Of course, there could be some sort of magic infused into that shot. I don't know. Again, I'm just looking based on just that first episode. I haven't seen any of the episodes yet, other episodes yet. But it's just amazing how that shot just went straight towards Ice and just absolutely kills him. They did shock me, of course, because I was not expecting it to happen. I mean, it's war, so anything can really happen. But a guy getting shot in the eye from a Nilfgaardian horseman that far away, I don't know. That was just weird. Like, either this guy's a really trained archer, or he's, you know, just very lucky, and then just manages to kill Ice. Or it could be some magician, or it could be a wizard who probably rigged that shot towards Ice. I think that might make a bit more sense, because this is the Witcher universe after all. So Queen Calanthe goes ahead, gathers her troops, and goes to war, and they actually lose. So Calanthe actually does go retreat back into Sintra, of course, to protect her kingdom. And this is where we see Mousesack, I would say he's the court mage. I'm not sure what the official title is called. I see him put up a barrier to the gate to prevent the Nilfgaardian archers or Nilfgaardian men from, you know, breaching through. And this is where we see, again, the next part of, you know, how archers are so powerful in Nilfgaard. They shoot arrows to try and go for the gate, probably to destroy the shield. And one of them manages to actually get through the shield and actually hit the gate. And they sort of use it as an opening. Now, this one, it's not as amazing as the one that happened to Ice when he got killed, because they were shooting volleys of arrows. So I guess at some point you would have to have seen a weakness in the barrier and just find that open point, in which case they could breach the gate and just destroy it. But I don't like how that happened after Mousesack says that, after Ciri asks Mousesack, like, how long will the gate hold? And then Mousesack goes like, it'll hold as long as I hold. And it's like, it just suddenly breaks with a Nilfgaardian arrow. It's like, that kind of just defeats the purpose of him saying that line, I guess, because like I thought something was gonna happen to him. Like I was expecting him to get shot or something, because like, so that kind of sort of defeated that line. I don't know, that's just what I thought. But yeah, they eventually get into Sintra. They start murdering its citizens. So we do see a glimpse of the brutality of Nilfgaard, because yes, before this happened, people were just saying like, oh, Nilfgaard has this reputation for being merciless to its opponent, raping its women, brutally killing children and stuff like that. But we do get to see a scene of Nilfgaard's brutality where they do slit a child's neck. Now, that kind of made me the question is, how on earth are they showing that, but they're not showing a little bit more action between Geralt and Renfri? So I thought that was just a little bit strange. So because of this, Queen Calanthe is offering to surrender, and she orders Gannick to give the high nobility of Sintra a vial of potion, which I assume makes them commit suicide or kills them or whatever, because, you know, we don't really see them again after they drunk the potion. Like, we didn't see them teleport or anything like that. So I believe this one either kills them, maybe puts them in a deep sleep, I don't know. But yeah, we do see that. And before, like, while all this is happening, Calanthe is trying to make a plan for Ciri to sort of escape and look for and Geralt. So this is sort of Ciri's side of the prophecy. I'm just calling it prophecy because it's a foreshadowing, really. Ciri's side of the foreshadowing, where Kalad tells her to look for Geralt of Rivia. As they are destined to be together, whereas Renfri's side says that Geralt will be destined to be with the girl in the woods, and we do see in the end that Ciri does run off into the woods, so that sort of fulfills the foreshadowing of these two being together. So they escape Ciri with the help of Laszlo, of course, and Mousesack. As they're escaping, the three of them, actually, a Nilfgaardian soldier does come in and sort of stops them, and Mousesack goes ahead and deals with them. Whether Mousesack survives or not, I have no idea. I did not read up that part of the lore, so I'm not sure if he actually survives this one. Hopefully, I think in the future episodes we'll see what happens. But again, I'm just trying to touch on the episode like here as it is. So Laszlo and Ciri attempt to run, but of course, as that happens, Laszlo is killed. He gets shot in the back by another Nilfgaardian soldier that was chasing them. It could be the one that dealt with Mousesack and maybe defeated him, or it's probably a different one. I think it's a different one because, again, we don't know what happened to Mousesack. So so Laszlo gets killed, and he gets shot with an arrow in the back. Now this one, again, not as surprising as the one that killed Iced, but still quite amazing how they were trying to run away with a horse, and then a Nilfgaardian soldier just manages to shoot them. Probably really strong arms, that one. Like I'm saying, who on earth is training Nilfgaardian soldiers? Like, I haven't seen, like, you don't see a single arrow miss. Like, you don't see like one or two arrows maybe flying to the side of them before Laszlo finally gets killed. I think that's his name, right? Laszlo, yeah. This is Ciri's protector, the one that she shared dance scene with before, things started to go to chaos. But seriously, I need to know who's training Nilfgaard soldiers to shoot arrows, because that aim is just amazing. Like, that's sort of the biggest shock that I got out of all of this, is kind of just that. So Ciri does get captured for a short while, and then we do see a glimpse of her, this would be the second time we see a glimpse of her powers, as we would say, as she is the Lion of Cintra. So it seems that whenever she screams, or is like in sort of agony or whatever, she roars, and it's like it shows a great deal of power within her. Whether what it does or not sure, but in the first time she did it because she was upset with the queen, which didn't really do much other than maybe shock the queen a little bit. But the second time she used it, I believe a pillar actually fell between her and the soldier, which means that she was able to run away, and I believe the ground even broke between them after that pillar fell. So that we actually do see a bit more of the power towards that. So we do get to see her, and she does manage just to run away into the woods. And episode 2, my guess, is probably leading up to the Geralt and Ciri unification. So before I finish this video, and I know it's a pretty long video, my apologies, is Geralt and Ciri, Renfri, I kind of wish it was used a bit more other than just a prophecy to Geralt and Ciri eventually uniting, but I guess that she was used a bit more than that, as she was also helped to sort of set the theme of the series, or at least the episode. I don't know about the series just yet, of choosing between the lesser evil. I think this will carry on throughout the series, because I think it's such a good thing to carry off of as Geralt's character progresses, which is really cool, I think. So I think they should keep this going. So what's gonna happen with Stregobor, I am not sure. I don't know if we're gonna see more appearances of him later on, but he is a very manipulative and cunning wizard, so I hope we see him more in future episodes, because his ability to convince people is pretty amazing. Calanth, of course, falls to her death, or she commits suicide by falling off to her death, as she is surrendering to to Nilfgaard. Iced, of course, gets shot. Iced Tuisia. Mousesack, no idea what happened to him. Danek, I'm not sure what happened to him. I'm not sure if he escaped or not, because last we saw of him in episode 1, he was just handing out the vials. And so we'll see what happens in episode 2. My apologies if... Oh, now I remember. The condition is called the Black Sun. If there are any people that were born around the Black Sun, then that's when, that's when they're just like that's when it gives them this condition of maybe being a bit more powerful, or they possess magical capabilities or whatever. So yeah, Henry Cavill's way of voicing Geralt, I don't know, something tells me it's a little bit off. I don't feel that same way, like the way Geralt's voiced, and I totally get it, because obviously it wasn't Henry Cavill that voiced him in The Witcher 3, so it's gonna sound a little bit different, but he sounds a little bit too monotone, like I know Geralt is a monotone, like he has a monotone way of speaking, but I feel like if there's a little bit more dynamic, like a bit more of the dynamic part in his voice, it'd be a little bit cool while maintaining, of course, his dry side, which I find really intriguing about Geralt. So I don't know. That's just my take on the way Henry Cavill voiced Geralt. But other than that, the way the theme is set, the personalities, it was really great. I really loved it, and I love how we got some action right away from episode 1. It's not some sort of prelude to anything. We immediately saw with the war between the Northern Realms and Nilfgaard, which I hope escalates into future episodes, and I'm looking forward to it. So this is my sort of review and sort of my thoughts on episode 1 of the Witcher series. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on it are as well. And again, if there's any sort of discrepancies that I said, feel free to correct me, of course, because I'm just a casual fan, and it's honestly hard talking in front of a camera for a while, and this is my first time doing it, so I hope I'll definitely improve and try to get better. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos. And other than that, this is Enzo signing out. I'll catch you guys in the next one.